that didn't work. Bent it to shreds. I'll keep drilling, I guess. Seeing behind where the metal is sort of like splitting, and seeing where the drill hole is. I'll change drill bit. I think I might have accidentally broken it because it's come away from the bottom of the radiator. So that's not a good sign. It was corroded to hell. It might be a case of replacing the radiator entirely. But I need to get this out of the way so I can get to the exhaust mounts behind, and then I can drop the exhaust off. That would be a wise choice. Okay, that's a 13mm. Suspected it was. So there you go, 13mm. Don't know if this is going to undo, but I hope so. Oh, yeah, much easier than I expected. That's good. That's a good sign. Which means I should be able to get the other one undone with relatively little effort. It's loose for a minute. Right, let's get on the other side. I'm getting above here, and oddly enough, that's a different size bolt. So what the hell's going on there then? I reckon that's much smaller. I'm guessing that's going to be a 12. No. 10mm. Yeah, definitely a 10mm. I had a 10, but I've got my swan neck. Oh my god, that's come undone really easily. This radiator has been off before. I'll see replaced with the wrong bolt. Alright, jump cut. Okay, so I've managed to remove the radiator. Let's tilt down so you can see the front of the engine a bit more and the pipes. So that's come out. There's a lot of work to do, there's some rusty stuff in there. Okay, let's pan back a bit. There we go, there is the radiator. Yeah, as I mentioned before, this has come off completely. I'll stand the camera back up again and tilt it down so you can see. There we go, that's better. So yeah, that's broken. I may be able to repair that with some JB Weld. The other one looks kind of quite corroded, so I'll try and drill that one out again. Hopefully might have a little bit more luck. I'm lying it down, I might have a bit more go at it. Obviously the fan on the back, connected to the wiring loom via that. I'll give those connectors a clean at some point. I'm going to remove this cover off the radiator fan. It's definitely free, so that's good. I'll give that a clean once it's free. It's extremely flaky and rusty here, so I'm going to crack on and see if I can remove this. The problem is it's got these, I can bring it closer to the camera so you can see these rounded crossheads. These always fail. They are terrible on these Kawasaki's. Probably a bad part on Kawasaki's suppliers. But, right, I'm going to have a go at getting these out. And yeah, if I can't get them out, I'll have to drill them as before. Right, here goes nothing. 12mm socket. Oh, that's turned a bit. Next one. Oh, made a noise. Next one. Oh, that's turned quite easily. Right, next one. Right, that's turned quite easily. Right, that one. That's the one. Let's got that. Next one. That one. Got that one running. Okay. Next one. That's good. That's okay. And last one on the end of the bike. The engine. Right, that's turning. Okay, well these are all free, they're all moving. Get an extra turn on this one because I know this one was very stiff. Yeah, that's good. Next one again. Oh. I hope I don't pull any studs out, that's the thing. I don't want to pull studs out. There might be a stud coming with me on that one. Okay, just as I suspected, they have come out. Well, not all of them, sorry, I've only taken 2 out so far. Yeah, it's pretty rusty, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a new set of these. They're not very expensive. So yeah, once that's done, that's another little job off the list. So right, I'll crack on, get rid of the rest of these, and drop the exhaust out. I have disconnected the oil radiator, so I can squeeze that through the gap in the pipes. So yeah, I'll see you shortly. I'll just crack on with the rest of this. Taking you off the tripod briefly, you'll notice something which I didn't notice before. Apart from, well, I've got most of the bolts out, and some of the nuts came off and left the studs in, but that's not a problem. See 2 there near the end. Okay, but under here, slowly, let's see if I can spot it. Okay, let's come under here. Okay, can you guys see that nut there? That there is part of the exhaust. I can reach it from the other side, I can undo this, and I should then be able to remove the exhaust can and then drop off the exhaust pipes. So I'm going to attempt to do that, and then I can drop the exhaust off. I thought it was all in one system, but you know, learn something every day. Okay, so I've got the exhaust off, and there is, I can get that off of there. got that off of there. That's a gasket. Can focus on that. Doesn't matter, it's only a gasket. All four of these are going to need to be changed. Kind of frustrating that the camera is not focusing properly, but that's pretty gammy. Just like a flat. I think that these might have been tubular at one point and they've just been crushed. And I've got some tubular ones. So yeah, and up on here there's a bolt which I explained earlier. Unfortunately, when I was trying to undo it, the metal came away from the edge. You can just see it sticking out there. It needs to be welded back down again. So that's that. I can do that at some point. Sorry about the speediness of the camera then. Right, that is the front of the engine. That is looking pretty corroded. It's quite nasty looking at that. The ports are looking pretty dark and corroded in there. So yeah, it's looking pretty filthy compared to the other parts which are going on the bike. It's a mess. Then again, it's to be expected. Yeah, cleanest thing on the whole entire bike is the oil filter. Yeah, I need to get that off at some point. Oh yeah, I did try and remove that there, but it just would not go. It's a 6mm socket and it to fit on there, but it wouldn't fit and it just kept on turning. And there's not enough grip in there, so the only thing I can do is cut through the rubber and through the metal and just pull this pipe off. But I've got to get a new set of pipes. That will happen. Yeah. Okay, so if I go up here a minute and have a look in here, there's some more bits I need to remove from the frame. So I need to remove that bolt there and that bolt there. This holds on this bracket which holds on the wiring loom. So I need to make sure I know where everything goes to hold everything on. So yeah, next video I will start to remove all the ancillaries. I'm going to remove the airbox because that's quite chunky. Remove all that lot. It's sat on the back end of the bike. Well, there is no back end, it's just sat on the rear wheel. I've actually got some room down there. So yeah. Finally off. That is knackered. Doesn't even, well, it squeezes slightly. That's knackered. Let's get that bolt out. And get that out as well. There. Okay, so I need to just check a few things while I'm doing it. Got a light on so I can see. It's a bit dim in the garage, even though it's gorgeous sunshine outside. Right, here we go. This is the loom here. You've got some clips that hold it to the side of the inside of the frame. So just following that down the side of there, underneath this hose, and it comes down underneath that other one. And it comes along and it is then basically into the tail of the bike. So I'll see this sits next to the, there's a few main fuse in there, and then you've got your live wire there to the battery. Anyway, so if we follow it back here where we started, above the top of the engine, go along under here, under this cross member here, and under here, let's see if I can get the light in there or not. There we go. It comes up and around, so it's across the front of this bar. Then it loops underneath this metal bracket, which I've unscrewed to loosen it for when I can take it all off. This one here goes to that block, which then, if I wiggle that from the outside of the frame, there, that one, follow that up, and to this loop here, and it goes down and into the underside of the ignition. So I know what that is for. That's ignition, so I will label that. So once I've disconnected that, that's going to help things. The rest of these wires, there's two blocks here, a green and a clear, even though it's not clear anymore, it's like a dirty creamy colour. This then goes underneath again, if I wiggle it from the front of the bike, underneath the handlebars here. This then goes around up here and into this, underneath the reservoir, into this, and this has the ignition. So I know what that does. Also, I have these, I always forget the name of these things, but they're to do with the ignition. Coil packs, that's it, coil packs. So I will be making a mental note of what where these wires go. But what I'm going to do is just unbolt them and free them from the frame. Be careful not to lose these if you're working on yours. You're sitting behind. So if you undo that and it drops and you lose it, it's then a problem. Let's try and get this one out as well. Right, slide that one out. And what I normally do, as usual, is just screw it back into the frame so they don't get lost. Some rubber grommets there. That's going to be awkward. I'll put them to the side for a minute, but they could do with a good clean up. They're pretty corroded, but you never know, they might just do for the job anyway. Okay, let's put those down and undo the other two. seems to have got a bit stuck to the collar. Doesn't want to come apart. It's unscrewing from the collar, so that's a bonus. Come on, out you come. There we go. Another one. No matter in which order you do these, makes no difference really. There we go. There we go, last one. Just as rusty as the others. Okay, so those are free. Let's try and think of the next job. Nope, nothing for a second. Oh, these are attached to your, you can see that there. There you go, these are attached to the spark plugs and they are labelled. So you've got 1, 2, 3 and 4. Right, next job, I think I'll remove the Airbox on a big crosshead screwdriver. Rather long bolts these, and quite oily as well. It's a bit of a worry. Shouldn't be a lot of oil in here. It should be fairly dry. That one's quite oily as well. Well, this is the first time opening this Airbox, so you're going to see what I see when I take this thing off. Okay, I think I'll unscrew the lower ones as well. There are some screws which are lower down. Let's drag you back a bit so you can see it. See that one there? That's going to come out. So, put the camera back a bit so you can see. So we'll take the top of the Airbox off first. See if it'll come out. Nope. Doesn't seem to want to shift, that one. Look on the other side. See if this one will go. Yeah, that one's gone. I think I might need a sharper bit. Unscrew, and out you come. These gloves are starting to break up on me. Come on, out you come. Dropped it in a can of coolant. God, it smells. Old coolant does not smell nice. I finally cracked it open. Cracked it just before I went on film because I didn't want to look stupid. Just in case it didn't undo. I'll put a bit back in there. Right, moment of truth. Or is there? Or is it? Okay, if it comes. That's what we've got in here. Okay, so in here you've got a fine mesh. Oddly enough, that was not in the last model I had, but these spines are very oily, as you can see the shine on them. Don't think that it's supposed to be like that. So look at this. That's the filter. And it's extremely damp, and I can smell a lot of fuel. So what I can do is I can take that home and give it a wash. That's exactly what I'm going to do. And I will do doing the same with the box. Get a nice soapy wash. Let's put that inside there for now. Won't do it any harm. And under here, as you can see, that is a mesh filter as well, and that is also extremely wet. So I'll give that a spray down. Okay. Oh, yeah, that does not look pretty. Okay, I'm just going to put this down a minute and show you what I found. Just knock the camera then, sorry about that. Okay, this is not supposed to be oily. Can you see the bottom of that? That is not pretty, so that is going to have to be lifted out, and it's very straightforward. There's a small bolt on the back there, which also houses part of the body, and let's lift that out with its hose. There we go. And it's actually got a crimp in that hose, so maybe it's been jammed and nothing's been able to get out. That's a possibility. So that is coming out, and that will be going to be washed as well. Just move the camera slightly. Sorry about that. Not a lot of room in here, I'm afraid, as you guys are quite aware. So let's screw that back in. If you're wondering, that little tiny hose right in front is an expansion pipe for gases coming out of the crankcase. So that there, any oil gases that escape come into the airbox and get recycled back into the engine. A bit more economic, makes the system more economical. Let's have a quick look at this carburetors there. They look very clean. Certainly do. I'm hoping that I won't need to do anything to those apart from clean the exterior. So that's the plan. Big bar has got to be removed. This is the bar holding the engine in at the back. So to release the engine, I will need to do that. I think I've mentioned it before. If I jack the bike up on the trolley jack and unbolt all these bolts, hopefully they'll all come out. This frame will then lift off of the engine. Then I can clean it and get it prepared and ready for shot blasting and powder coating. And it certainly needs it. And I need to clean the engine. So it's very, very corroded. I'll have a look online, find the best methods for cleaning it. And yeah, go from there. But as for now, guys, that'll do today.